in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
There we go. Let's get that mic on. There we go. Good morning, everybody. What's happening? It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on the Mark Hoke Show, here on KDAWN on 1015 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas, and we are thrilled to have you joining us here on the show. Just going to be a great one. Boy, I'll tell you what, a wild week. And I got to tell you, I have a very special friend in the studio with me today. Can't believe he's here. I just can't. NJ Holiday is hanging out with me today. My friend, what's going on?
Hey, blessed to see another day, man. It's your favorite holiday. NJ Holiday back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Got a lot of wrestling to talk about. Through a jam-packed weekend. We had TNA. We had the return of Jeff. We had Clash of the Castle. Controversy struck. And, man, we had NXT Battleground here in Las Vegas. It's a lot to get into, Mark. Let's get it.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, it was one hell of a week. We're going to get 1 week to breathe before Forbidden Door, too, man. I'll tell you, the world of pro wrestling, it has changed so much in the past 3 years. I can't believe it. I mean, this has been unreal. It used to be, we get a WWE pay-per-view and pretty much everybody else was kind of or non-existent. And now, man, it never stops, my friend. It never stops.
We don't want it to stop anytime soon, man. Let's just keep this hot train rolling. I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, and by the way, of course, don't forget, we're also, of course, not just on KDAWN, but we're on the Odyssey app. So if you haven't downloaded the Odyssey app, well, I don't know what your problem is, other than just being stubborn. Download that app. It's got all these great shows on it besides ours. So download that app. You can be listen to us wherever we are. And of course, we're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So if you go to the Mark Hoke Show on either of those platforms, you're going to be able to get into the chat box and say hi to us and give us your comments. We'd love to hear what you thought of any of those cards that happened this week. So say hi to us. NJ loves to hear all these great comments.
Sure do. Don't be shy. Download the Odyssey app now. Do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you.
Really?
I sure would.
I know NJ would. He's an awesome guy. So very happy to have you with us, NJ. And of course, hour 2, Matt Black from WrestleZone is going to be joining us. And if you have heard Matt on the show before, you know he's going to bring a very unique take to things, to say the least. So get ready for Matt Black from WrestleZone, hour 2, joining us. So, it's kind of hard to pick a place to start, but I guess we'll go with Clash at the Castle first, NJ. And it was an interesting evening to describe it. It has gotten a lot of reaction, positive and negative, from around the wrestling world. And I'm gonna save the main event for last. We had a really good main event last night, or opening match, I should say, with Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. A pretty good I Quit match.
Oh, very good I Quit match. Storytelling at its finest. Shout out to Mama Rhodes. She did a thing in that match too.
Mama Rhodes was great. Slapped AJ a few times.
3 times. 3 times. I thought AJ was gonna go take it back to the old Bullet Club days, get that chair and knock her out with no kind of like consequences in mind. But yeah, very good story. He poked the bear, and then he just gave Cody Rhodes a little bit too much time to gather the power of those 11,000 strong Scottish fans that packed out the OVO Hydra Center. And hey, Cody Rhodes is showing why he is the face of the company right now.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job last night, and that got everybody going. Some good Scottish singing, by the way. None of that French crap. Just no. Phenomene, whatever the heck they were singing, it just sounds stupid.
Cody Rhodes,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, we love Cody Rhodes. I loved it.
Yeah, you get the Scottish. You can tell they were drinking some beer too, and that's the way you do it. We had an upset last night, and I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on this match, because the unholy union, which is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who are both Scottish, get the win last night in that triple threat match and win the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So the Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill reign, which honestly I thought this might run up to pretty close to WrestleMania, may have the two of them explode close to it and get that big match that I think a lot of people are anticipating. Well, this ends up being a 42-day reign as Fire and Dawn end up winning that match over them and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. And the reign is over, and I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be mean, but Jade struggled last night. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to say it. She did. She had some issues yesterday.
I saw that the one moment in the match that Jade kind of lost her footing on. From what I saw, like I said, it was a three-way match. You got 3 tag teams in there, a multi-man match, a multi-woman match. So it's a lot of aspects that will happen in a match that you're not going to plan for. I don't think she really struggled. She had the one spot where she just took a misstep. But I'm not going to discredit her. I'm not going to discredit the improvements that I have seen in the ring that she's displayed over the last 6 months. Because remember, she debuted at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
In Tampa, Florida. I was there for that. A beautiful debut. Had the internet talking. Made a hell of a first impression for her debut. And then, like I said, she ends up having her first WrestleMania match, and that's another multi-woman match where she tagged with Trinity and Bianca to up against Damage Control, and they won that match. And if you remember the WrestleMania 40 match, it wasn't that long. That 6-woman match was, I want to say, maybe 7 or 8 minutes. But Jade and Bianca, they are the team. They were a beautiful women's tag team that held their title with grace, and they lost last night, not being pinned. Let's keep that in mind.
That is very true.
They lost that that 3-way women's match last night without being pinned, and that was a well done performance from Alba Fire and Dawn. Because keep in mind, Mark, you said it was an upset, but I don't think it was an upset as much because Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, they were the most longest tag team. The 2 competitors been in the tag team the longest, I should say, in that match. And they were former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And I cannot applaud WWE anymore for the way that they structured that match and the way that they booked that match, to where they had 3 teams go in there. They had the hometown girls from Scotland, born and raised, win the titles in their home country in front of their home friends and family. And then they kept Bianca and Jade looking strong because they weren't even involved in the finish. So yes, Jade had a misstep, but Jade also had a lot of good moments in that match as well, when she had the double spot where she had Shayna in the fireman's carry, and she had Dawn in front of her, and she slammed both of them and still did a kip up afterwards, getting a 2-for-1 special, and had the Scotland crowd roaring in approval right behind her.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of good moments, and then her and Bianca executed on her tag team finishes. But as you remember in Backlash, she nailed that move perfectly in France. It was just like, it just so happened she misstepped here in Scotland, and it is
Yeah,
what it is. She'll learn from it.
Yeah, there was another spot late in the match there too, where she kind of came up short on a spot. But yeah, she has a lot to learn. She's getting there.
She's getting
She's getting there, and she's just too good an athlete to have those things consistently happen. But you know,
right.
it's going to take some time. But you know, and it's got to be tough for her. You know, you think about it, she's only wrestled probably about what 70 matches in her career at this point.
Yes,
You know, ballpark
70 matches. But like I said, she's the longest reigning TBS champion that ever was, and then she went all the way to I believe 60, maybe 60-0, and then she finally lost to Chris Statlander here in Las Vegas. She went for double that one night. She beat Anna Jay, and then she went for double. And she thought she could beat an injured returning Chris Statlander. She left for nothing. But yeah, she has like maybe 75, maybe 77 matches underneath her belt. But keep in mind, she is 31. She is a cross-trained athlete coming from basketball, along with Bianca Belair. Both of them played hoops in their college days. And I'd say this: shout out to Mark Henry once again for finding these young ladies and getting them into the pro wrestling business, because they've done a lot for the culture, especially representing and giving a nice beacon of hope for young other African American women that want to strive to enter the pro wrestling business.
Absolutely, yeah. They're you know, and I look forward to seeing Bianca and Jade. They're probably going to win those titles back pretty quick.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. Yeah,
it won't take. I don't think it'll take too long.
Yeah.
Chad Gable goes down yesterday, and Otis has become chivalrous again. He's very good at carrying women away from the ring.
Yes, he is. Mandy from Mandy to Maxie.
Man, he's a ladies guy.
From Mandy to Maxine. Yes, sir.
Good for him. Good for him.
And let's keep in mind where Otis started from. Otis was literally, because I can say it, because I was because everybody knows that NJ Holiday is a worker, and I'm part of one of the illustrious pro wrestling factions in the independent scene right now, Culture Inc. So, story with Otis, because Culture Inc. was formed where? In Orlando, Florida, 2018. As we're getting our feet wet in the wrestling business in the independent scene, we was helping out with some local shows that NXT were doing, not at the Performance Center, but at other little towns, other little cities that are in Florida. And I remember going to one in St. Augustine, Florida, a little bit outside of, I want to say, Palm Springs or Palm Bay. But yeah, as we're helping with the NXT staff and crew, Otis is there, and he's just a traditional bodyguard, a traditional security guard working the front, letting the people in, and stuff like that, and joking around and chastising and kidding around with some of the wrestling fans coming into this local NXT show. They guys like people like Ricochet. You had Adam Cole. You had Drew McIntyre making his return to the WWE, and this is when he was with the NXT, and Bobby Roode. So yeah, Otis is dope. He was joking around. He was actually doing the worm with another fan outside of the venue. This was like an armory, and he was actually just messing around with the fan doing the worm to the point where, like I said, we had a whole crowd around us, and they all recorded it. And then Tucker Knight, who was his tag team partner at the time, he was another guard, another security person. They literally just taking tickets at the door, taking ticket stubs. But Otis has such a charisma and a relation with the fans as far as like entertaining them, just being a security guard to where the WWE brass that was actually there, they saw that. And then I remember later on, they were talking to Otis for like a long time, like maybe 45, 50 minutes. And then next thing you know, because a friend of mine, Jason Cade, he was working there too. And now he's off wrestling as well. But like 3 weeks later, and then all of a sudden you see Otis in a tryout class with a whole bunch of the other independent guys in Orlando, Florida in 2017. And then he got a contract. So it's just little stuff like that, because he was just a body guy. He wasn't a wrestling guy, but little stuff like that. He took the little gig that WWE gave him, which was like taking tickets at the door, being a security person, looking out for the NXT talent. and then his charisma oozed out with the fans, just with that little altercation, that little interaction, and then he ended up getting a tryout based off his charisma, and then obviously he was also built for it. So sky's the limit. You just surprised. So shout out to Otis, and then all of a sudden now he's in Scotland, carrying all these different beautiful ladies all over the place, from Mandy to Maxine. It's amazing.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Very cool. This is why I have NJ Holiday on the show. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Odie.
Yeah, there you go. Well, of course, Sami Zayn beats Chad Gable, who, by the way, has officially re-signed with WWE. Not a surprise there, but yeah, Otis and Maxine are probably out of the orbit of the Alpha Academy.
Well, it is a bit of surprise, Mark. Let's keep it
Oh
honest.
yeah,
Let's keep in mind
Come
look at the journey now.
All
Let's
right.
keep in mind, if Vince was still in power, we'd be calling this man what? Shorty G.
Oh,
Probably still coming out in
God.
these little basketball shorts and this
Oh,
singlet. Like, yeah, I wouldn't.
you had to remind us of that.
Yes, I did, because you said it's no surprise, no big deal, but it's a huge deal. Shout out to Chad Gable and his family for re-signing a nice, lucrative, long-term deal with the WWE, and I took the time to see that interview that he did with some of the guys over there at WWE, another content creating wrestling format that goes by WWE Gorilla Position. Shout out to you guys. They had a nice exclusive interview with Chad Gabriel the morning of or the weekend of, where Chad actually took the time to say that he was happy that he resigned with WWE, made the announcement, and a huge component of him resigning with WWE was because of Triple H.
Yep.
Paul Levesque, and this era that Paul Levesque has ushered in here at WWE, that he is very kin of and he's very happy of. And one thing that Chad said that stuck out, that made him want to resign, is that Triple H kept his word and kept his promise that he made to Chad as far as where his career was going, how he would be showcased on TV, and the matches that he would be headlining in over the last year. So shout out to Paul Levesque, shout out to Triple H, for like Chad Gabriel keeping his word as a man, keeping his promise to Chad Gabriel, which was a huge component in Chad re-signing with the WWE. So that is huge, ladies and gentlemen, with this new era that we're going into, that the talent is saying these nice, kind things of the new legit owner, the new legit head of all of WWE, the chief operating officer, Paul Levesque.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's funny because I had interviewed Chad at WrestleMania 39, and I had brought up about the fact that maybe it's time for him to start wrestling some singles matches, and have brought up the possibility of wrestling people like Gunther and so on. It's hilarious. I mean, I didn't think I was completely foretelling the future, but
That's exactly what you did.
But I guess I did.
5-star matches with Gunther, 5-star matches with Sami Zayn, 5-star matches with Bronson Reed, 5-star matches with all these other heavyweights, and he's a cruiserweight, so to speak. But Alpha Academy was what he needed. As you can see in the pro wrestling business, a beautiful thing. Everybody gets their starts in what? A pro wrestling faction. And those pro wrestling factions get what? A lot of immersed TV time, a lot of immersed storytelling, a lot of immersed segments, a lot of immersed layers. And with Chad Gabriel, he was able to create his own Alpha Academy, his own faction, to where it started with Otis and it grew with Maxine and it grew with Tozawa. And that is sort of keeping him in the limelight of Monday Night Raw as a main factor for Monday Night Raw programming when it came to the Judgment Day, when it came to Alpha Academy, when it came to the Bloodline, when it came to Imperium. So one thing that everybody wants to strive for and they need to strive for is they need to be involved in a pro wrestling faction in some way, shape, or form, because it's not going to guarantee you, but it will give you a nice leg up, a nice startup to having one hell of an essential, memorable WWE career, as you can see right now with Chad Gable.
There you go. Well, let's step back, take a break here, NJ. And when we come back, we're going to keep rolling on Clash at the Castle. Is obviously some other things happened there as well. CM Punk, he was a bad boy last night. He made the Scottish people very, very angry. Look at NJ in there.
CM Punk.
There he goes.
CM Punk.
Oh my
CM
God!
Punk.
All you CM Punk apologists, unbelievable. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show, and of course, Matt Black from WrestleZone joining us in hour 2. We'll be right back.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. What do you think of when someone says tough? Honestly, I think of a Toyota truck. Tundra's one mean mother of a truck with a twin-turbo V6 and incredible going power, and the Tacoma claws through terrain with a taller suspension and lots of creature comforts in the cockpit. Both Toyota trucks are decked out with tons of cool features and tech you'll dig. Check them out at Toyota.com, folks.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the Array RX discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free, show your pharmacist your digital card, and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll. Visit ArrayRxCard.com to learn more and sign up today.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ready for your next vacation? Not so fast. Before you hit the road, remember these healthy habits to keep yourself and others safe and sanitary. Wash your hands after using the restroom, before eating and after blowing your nose. Sanitize airplane seats and tray tables. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or your elbow. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Lastly, make sure you're up to date on all your routine vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. It's also important to get tested when necessary, such as if you develop COVID-19 symptoms before, during, or after travel. If you'll be traveling to visit someone who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19, or if you're in a situation with a greater risk of exposure during travel. Pack these tips on your next adventure. And remember, travel safely, Nevadans. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Nevada.
This message presented by the Nevada Interscholastic Activities Association and the Nevada Athletic Directors Association.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's bring it on back for another segment of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And it gets even better when NJ Holiday's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'll tell you.
Stay woke.
Yeah, been a while, man.
It's been a minute. Hey, but let me take the time to shout out everybody. Let me take a minute to say a special happy Father's Day to the man, the myth, the legend, the biggest mark in pro wrestling, Mark Hoke.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. Mark Hoke. Happy Father's Day to you, my brother.
Well, thank you, my
Thanks
daughters.
for having me on this best Father's Day edition of the Mark Hoke Show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. My daughter's actually sitting out here right now hanging out.
There you go.
Yeah, what a great dad I am. I drag her butt out of bed at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Hey,
way to go, Pops.
Work don't stop. And I'm pretty sure once the show is over with, I know you got the ice cream on deck. I know you got the food on deck. I know you got the lights, maybe the water park on deck. Hey, Cowabunga Bay ain't too far away from here. It is Sunday. They open.
Thanks for spending my money.
There you go.
Jay Holiday. Good job. Jerk. Anyway, that's all good. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, and especially to you single dads. You don't get the credit. We don't get the credit. So keep it in mind.
Shout out to all the single daddies out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of us doing a lot of hard jobs out there. So
hard times, like Dusty Rose said, hard times.
Right, hard times.
Hard times.
Yes, Bailey knocks off Piper Niven yesterday in Clash at the Castle. Piper Niven gets a nice showcase in front of her hometown crowd in Scotland. And you know what I was thinking when I was watching her actually get to wrestle a good match?
What?
Vince McMahon made her dewdrop.
Hey,
you were talking about
just talking about Chad Gabriel and Shorty G and how that was a big come up. Yes. Now look, dewdrop. Yeah, he sure did. Piper Niven. Look, shout out to Piper. Like I said, stay relentless. She stayed at it. She stayed consistent. You know what I'm saying? She didn't get on Twitter and complain. She didn't ask for a release. She stayed true to her craft. She stuck through it. And then look, you beat the benefits of the reward when you can stick through those hard times. And now look, she went all the way to her home country, big time, big fight field, big title match in front of her fans and family, her husband. And hey, the sky's the limit for Piper. And then I'm anxious to see how this story is going to go with her and Chelsea Green. Well, I'm sorry, where Samantha Irvin say, Chelsea Green.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was. Hey,
man.
So shout out to them because, like I said, shout out to Samantha Irvin. Hopefully, we don't lose you. I know Ricochet and his contract is the big talk of the summer right now. But shout out to Samantha Irvin, the MVP this year, made her debut on WWE 2K14. That's how big of an impact she done made on the industry right now as a ring announcer. For you to be implanted into your full game model into a video game as a ring announcer is huge. But shout out to her. Shout out to Chelsea Green making the most of that special entrance that Samantha Irvin will give her. Because now on the shows that, Samantha Irvin's on Raw, with Chelsea Green being on SmackDown, she has this new entrance, custom entrance with the voice of Samantha Irvin at the top of the entrance every time. And then it plays Chelsea Green's track now. So
nice.
It's intricated into her interest track now. So shout out to Chelsea Green. Smart business move with her now being on SmackDown and Samantha Irvin staying on Raw.
There you go. So, but yeah, nice match. And boy, Bailey gets a win on her birthday. So happy post-birthday to Bailey, as she will now probably head into SummerSlam. Getting ready for.
I want to know that girl. Bailey. Hey, I want to know that girl. I love that crowd. I love overseas crowds,
They're
man.
fun.
They're amazing.
They are fun.
It's just a beautiful thing of Bailey and her reach. Because, man, they're in France. She's getting that chant. They're in Scotland. She's getting that chant. They're in Canada. She's getting that chant. She's in Australia. Then she's getting that chant. It's just shout out to her. Shout out to Bailey being a once in a generation like girl that men across many continents are drooling over.
Oh,
so shout out to Bailey.
Who wouldn't want to date Bailey? Are you kidding me?
Well, Aaron Solo, who dropped that ball. But we don't have to get there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank him. He did the world a favor.
There you go.
Yeah.
So main event, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and of course the Scottish fans that paid $300 to $400 a ticket to attend this Clash at the Castle, expecting that Drew McIntyre will be walking out of there, partying up in Glasgow, Scotland as the new WWE champion.
Don't do that, Mark. Don't do that. Now you pulling now you pulling a stunt another radio personality that I've been following does. You're trying to build them up to bring them down.
Flowing.
Don't do that.
The kilt's getting lifted.
Don't do that.
Everything, just the bagpipes playing all night long in Glasgow. Oh no. As CM Punk pulls the screw job. course, we have a referee get knocked out, another referee. And by the way, I gotta stop for a second and give the new head of production, TV production, Lee Fitting, who is the guy that took over for Kevin Dunn, such massive credit for what he has done since he's taken over and has completely changed the look of broadcast for WWE. But he did an amazing job setting up those camera shots so you could not see who the referee was that was running to the ring and doing that 2 count. What an amazing job with the camera work. Amazing. But of course, there's a referee jumps in after the ref gets knocked out. Drew hits a second Claymore. He's got Damian Priest down. You see the 1, you see the 2, and whoever this referee is stops. And then the camera shifts to another angle, and it's CM Punk holding up a 2 to Drew, and Drew is just horrified.
It's just,
just horrified.
Hey, man, he begged for it. He begged for it. He begged for it. He begged for it. When you poke the bear, you just got to be ready for them claws to come back.
It was an accident.
It was an accident, but look, Mark, everything that he said on Twitter afterwards was no accident.
No, that's true.
Everything he did on Twitter, all the shirts,
the WrestleMania
all the
stuff
jokes, all the slugs, all the zingers, all the puns, everything that he sent CM Punk's way while he was stuck at home, nursing that injury, missing WrestleMania 40, his WrestleMania comeback, because this man don't know how to get into he doesn't know how to hit a safely executed future shock. The move that he hadn't done in months, by the way, but all of a sudden now you want to do it on a guy that just made his return to WWE, and then you find a way to injure him, and he misses WrestleMania moment. So kudos to CM Punk. Kudos to Phillip Brooks getting his comeback. Not only did you cost him the world title at WrestleMania 40 in front of his wife,
yes,
who's in our prayers, who unfortunately could not make it,
yes,
to Scotland to see this match with Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. She's in our prayers. She had an emergency surgery that she had to stay in the States for, so she couldn't make the flight to Scotland.
Thank God she didn't.
Well, I don't want to say that, but
come on, you think she wanted to see that?
I mean, hey,
there have been some. Punk would have been in her face too.
Well, she saw what happened to Drew at WrestleMania 40 in Philly.
She didn't need to see
how he got stomped out by a one-armed man. And I mean, it couldn't get no worse than that, but it literally did last night at Clash at the Castle in Scotland in front of all those Scottish fans. But shout out to CM Punk. You got your revenge. I'm excited for SummerSlam because these guys are going to tear their house down. They're finna kill each other. And shout out to those Scottish fans that had their CM Punk shirts on in the front row.
All 12
and then,
of them.
Yeah, and then CM Punk found them, and they welcomed him with open arms and gave him a hug and kissed and everything, and a job well done for screwing over their hometown boy, Drew McIntyre. Shout out to those Scotland fans that was in the front row with their CM Punk shirts on.
I give them credits for their courage.
Oh yeah. Shout out.
But now this is going to get very interesting, and of course, the Scotland fans were apparently afterwards were, shall we say, displeased.
And when a wrestling fans not displeased, you can't have everything you want.
That's true.
Shout out to
they were unhappy, but of course, obviously this is part of a much bigger picture for this whole thing.
Thank you.
And it's gonna I have a feeling that there's going to be some very entertaining intricacies coming up with this, because now not only are you going to get this feud, but you would think that the world championship is still going to stay in the picture of this, which means there's another guy that's going to be involved in all this.
Well,
because Gunther's getting a title shot,
right? And that's why I don't think the world title will be involved in this feud just yet. I think if CM Punk and Drew McIntyre do their job and make this feud the most talked about feud in all of the current land of WWE segments and other rivalries that are going on. If CM Punk and Drew do what they already doing and keep this this rivalry hot and keep everybody invested, then you start to overtake other feuds, other rivalries, other title matches, because everybody's talking about, ooh, did you see what CM Punk just did that week? Ooh, did you see what Drew McIntyre just did to respond? Ooh, did you see where they was battling out of this past week on Raw? Ooh, did you see what happened at Money in the Bank? If they keep their rivalry as the most talked about feud in the current landscape of the WWE, then yes, it begins to overshadow the other champions, the other title matches. And once that happens, then you're obligated to add that title to the feud to enhance it. Case in point, we've seen this before. 2017, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Rivalry of the year.
Yep.
To the point, it overshadowed the WWE champion, well, the NXT champion at the time, who was Aleister Black. Aleister Black, who was he wasn't even main eventing the NXT takeovers anymore, the champion. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were, based off of their rivalry from being former tag team partners to now bitter rivals. And then you had him and that match that finish we all want to forget, with him and Lars Sullivan, and how Lars botched the Black Mass finish.
Yeah.
With the
that didn't happen.
And then, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
But that's a case in point to where months later on a random episode of NXT, you had a random NXT title match. Ciampa, Black, Gargano gets involved. He inadvertently hits Black with the title, and now we got Tommaso Ciampa as the NXT champion. Nobody saw that coming, but the title added to their feud and enhanced it. So, like you said, for now, Gunther is gonna be teasing this feud with Damian Priest for the upcoming months. I thought we would see a little tease of maybe Imperium and Judgment Day. Who knows? We could talk about that right now because they kicked Da Vinci out. Kaiser's doing his own little thing, but he's still alongside Gunther. So if you were you and you're booking Gunther, who won the King of the Ring, so now he got the automatic title shot.
Which is what I hated that, by the way.
I don't.
So I wanted him to win, but I don't like the automatic title shot.
I love it in this aspect because I've been a fan of WWE for a while. You go back 22 years. Yeah, I said it. You go back 22 years. They had this stipulation in place at King of the Ring 2002. And the winner of that, he got a undisputed title shot in the main event of SummerSlam. And the person who won that King of the Ring tournament in 2002 was who? They can't say his name right now in WWE, but we can say his name right now on the Mark Hoke Show, and that is the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. He won the King of the Ring 2002, which gave him an automatic main event shot against the undisputed champion, who was who? Who was who at the time? It was The Undertaker. But at the next following pay-per-view, the title changed hands against a returning superstar, returning megastar, and The Rock. And they went on to SummerSlam, and we got Brock versus Rock. First time ever for the undisputed title. And hey, we never got to see that match again. So that's why I like the stipulation. And Gunther.
Okay. We got to get to a break. I'm going to tell you real quick why I'm going to fight you on that when we come back. By the way, I got to say, give a shout out to our good friend, super photographer, Bionic Scoop out there. Says this story is beautifully crafted.
Oh,
he's right. He's absolutely right. But Scoop, amazing photographer out there, does terrific stuff in wrestling. Hire him, everybody out there. He's awesome. But I'm going to fight you on that for a sec. But I'll tell you why just when we come back from our break here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN. We'll be right back. Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I'm along for the ride. NJ Holiday when we come back.
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose.
Support a classroom.
Build a future.
James Brown and Bill Cowher welcoming you back to Dennis Melvin's house. It's time for the Midnight Snack Run.
This is one tricky obstacle course. Sticking to healthy habits in this kitchen is going to take focus and determination, but it can be done, JB.
He's already entered the snack part of the course, and he's eyeballing a jar of chocolatey candy.
That is tempting right off the start.
Uh-oh, he's reaching, Bill, but he pushes it away.
Great stiff arm.
He's approaching a plate of delicious-looking iced cookies.
Oh, Dennis, you only want one of those.
He blows right by him for the apple.
Oh, the fridge. It's make or break time, JB.
He stares down some rich-looking treats. Uh-oh, looks like he's headed for the soda. Wait, he jukes left, grabs the water bottle, and shuts the door with his elbow in record time.
Unbelievable move. I gotta see that again.
And he's out. He even turned off the light.
That's the way you execute a midnight snack run.
Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey there, I'm Healthy Hank, your health hero, here to give you little habits for healthy travels. Whether you're jet setting across the globe or hitting the road for a spontaneous adventure, it's crucial to prioritize health safety every step of the way. Picture this, you're on a road trip making a quick pit stop at a gas station. Before you dive into those irresistible gas station snacks, remember to wash your hands after using the pump. Those pumps can be a breeding ground for germs. And speaking of germs, if you find yourself in a sneezing or coughing fit, be sure to cover up and then disinfect any surfaces you may have touched. We're all in this together, so let's keep those contagious villains at bay. Remember, folks, a simple act like covering your cough or sneeze into your elbow or a tissue can make a world of difference. And if you're feeling a supervillain brewing inside you, do us all a favor and stay home. Together, we can ensure a safe and healthy journey for everyone. Stay safe, and let's conquer those germs together. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for our final segment of hour number 1 of the Mark Hoke Show.
Hoke, 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 Hoke.
Yeah, baby. I like that. And Jay Holiday, always bringing joy to everything he touches.
Bring the energy.
Yeah, you betcha. And now I'm going to tell him he's wrong. No, but here's my thing. We were talking about the automatic title shot that you get when you win King of the Ring. And the one thing that, to me, that it complicates a little bit is if you've got a hot storyline, or God forbid you have an injury or something like that, having that 3 pay-per-views out, can maybe mess things up a little bit. We've got a situation right now, and with this thing with Drew and Punk. Now, do you need to have the World Championship involved in it? No. I would grant you that. It's red hot. You don't need the title. But would it be fun to have it? Yeah. Of course it would. And now, if you want to involve it, Now you got Gunther in the mix. And then now you're going to have maybe Punk and Gunther meet, and one of them's got to take losses. You got to mix Drew in there too if you want to have that title involved. And, it just kind of, it gets a little crazy with booking because you get Damian Priest involved in this too. So, and eventually one of them's going to, let's say Gunther beats Priest at SummerSlam. Drew's going to want that title at some point. And at some point, you're going to have to send Punk after it. So you got to split this whole thing off, and it's going to get messy. I have a way out. I have a real fun way out.
Let's hear it.
Money in the Bank's coming up.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's got to win that briefcase.
Who's your early favorite? Who you got winning the men's Money in the Bank this year?
How about Drew McIntyre?
How
about Drew McIntyre? So let's just say that Gunther ends up beating Damian Priest at SummerSlam. Then you're going to set up eventually a Punk. I would imagine you're going to get a Punk Gunther match, right? I could see a really fun scenario where Punk, McIntyre, and Gunther are rotating through the World Championship situation. But could you imagine if you get a Punk Gunther match?
Yeah.
And Punk manages to go through this match from hell to beat Gunther. And Drew has the case and takes the World Championship away from Punk. Huh?
I like it.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad.
That's not bad.
Not a bad hypothetical. Not a bad for Drew to get his cut. For Drew to get his lick back. I like it.
There's a lot of fun there, but I think Drew getting the Money in the Bank briefcase and possibly screwing over Punk at some point. Oh my God. You could be setting something really nasty up for WrestleMania.
I think for now, I like that. I think for now, though, I think Punk has a long path ahead of him to prove or to show the WWE brass that he can
stay healthy.
Yeah. One, and then hang in a match like that with a Gunther, because Gunther has been putting on 5-star clinics. Gunther's been in matches no less than maybe 15 minutes. So for Punk to have that kind of like match with him, I don't even think Punk's gonna be in the World Heavyweight title picture for a while until he can prove that yes, he can stay healthy, and yes, that he can hang. I gotta see, and then we gotta see him actually have a match on Monday Night Raw. Once he has something like that for a consistent basis on for back-to-back weeks, I think that will build up enough confidence for the WWE brass to put him in the WWE heavyweight title picture. But for now, like I said, to rebuttal the King of the Ring thing, 3 months out, yeah, it is a pretty much of a stretch. But that is based to the money ties that they got with Saudi Arabia, and they felt like they needed to come out there with a big, lavish pay-per-view, which was King of the Ring. And then, unfortunately, it was just so early. But what the King of the Ring 2002 Undisputed Championship winner stipulation did for Brock Lesnar, it can't be understated, basically, because this was a guy in his rookie year. He got a chance to work a Hall of Famer Legends icon in the mass of like 6 months. He beat Ric Flair, he beat Booker T, he beat Big Show, he beat RVD, and then he beat Hulk Hogan, and then he ultimately went on to beat The Rock, and he beat The Undertaker. He did all this in 1 year. So the catapult that this tournament can launch Gunther in to, after just losing the Intercontinental Championship, after that record-setting reign, Mark, that record-setting reign that he had.
And I had no problem with him winning it. I just don't think I think they could have done a slow burn on it as opposed to saying, well, here's a world championship match.
Yeah, well,
he
kind of still is a slow burn, because look how far out the championship match is compared to when SummerSlam actually is happening for him to have his title shot. So it is still kind of a slow burn. You're still getting what you want. So
it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I'm just being a contrarian. I don't know.
I'm excited.
I could be right. I could be wrong.
I'm
you guys
excited.
can say it in the chat box, whatever you want.
Let us know what y'all think. Do
Yeah.
y'all agree with the stipulation of this year in 2024, the winner of the Kingdom Ring tournament getting an automatic championship match into the main event of SummerSlam for a title of their brand? I honestly, Mark, one last thing. I honestly would think that they could have added a stipulation letting the person of the Kingdom Ring choose if they wanted to face the champion on Raw or SmackDown.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, we're wrapping up hour number 1. NJ Holiday firing them off. Matt Black's going to be joining us from WrestleZone in hour number 2. So this should be a lot of fun because, oh boy, Matt and NJ on the same show. Yikes. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
It's about to get spicy.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Are you shopping for healthcare coverage for a small business? Whether you're renewing a plan or shopping for a new one, the Vegas Chamber Health Plan, backed by Anthem, has many of the advantages usually reserved for a larger organization, like access to care across Nevada at lower cost. Lock in quality healthcare at budget-friendly prices through July 2024. Go to vegaschamber.com/anthem. Brought to you by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this summer. Wash your vehicle at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Collect grass clippings and put them in the trash. And secure and pack out trash when recreating. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
The LGBTQ Center of Las Vegas provides a range of health and wellness services in a safe and non-judgmental environment. You can get fast and comprehensive HIV testing, as well as screening for STIs for little to no cost. Appointments are recommended, but walk-ins are welcome. Located in the heart of Las Vegas near downtown, the center also provides an on-site pharmacy. Get more information at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the Array RX discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free. Show your pharmacist your digital card and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll, so you can get back to doing what makes you happy.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking they were at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fela.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
Weekend gunfire. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. 9 people shot at a water park in Rochester Hills, Michigan Saturday. What police believe was a random attack.
He heard that call come in and immediately self-deployed to the splash pad. and was on scene in less than 2 minutes.
Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard saying the gunman later shot and killed himself when cops contained him at a nearby home. One of the victims, an 8-year-old boy, is said to be in critical condition. Meantime, at least 2 people are dead following a shooting Saturday evening at a Juneteenth festival near Austin, Texas. Round Rock, Texas, Police Chief Alan Banks saying that shooting apparently began with a fight.
An altercation broke out between 2 groups. During that altercation, someone produced a gun and began to fire.
No suspects have been arrested just yet. President Biden attending a star-studded Hollywood fundraiser last night.
President Biden flew overnight from Italy to arrive in Los Angeles Saturday morning. The headliners of Saturday night's fundraiser, former President Barack Obama, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, an Ocean's 11 reunion there, and Jimmy Kimmel. Fox is told $28 million has already been collected, making this the largest Democratic fundraiser in history. That's more than the big haul from Radio City Music Hall back in March. Obama was at that one, too. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Meantime, former President Donald Trump's supporters celebrated his birthday yesterday in the key state of Michigan. The Michigan Conservative Coalition organizing a MAGA boat parade in St. Clair Shores. They traveled along Lake St. Clair and then the Detroit River to the heart of the Motor City. The former president was hosting a roundtable discussion at a church in Detroit. He then spoke at the Turning Point Action Convention in the downtown area. America's listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance, but people still accuse me of it.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
I feel for their families, and I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network. Listen to the all-new Brett Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, talking to lawmakers weekly from opposite sides of the political spectrum about the issues of the day and how Americans can find common ground in a politicized world.
That's just not happening on Capitol Hill. It takes leadership, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Along with all your Brett Baier favorites like the campaign, the candidates, the all-star panel, and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get to it. Hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas. And boy, we just don't stop over here. Having a great time. Oh, man, we didn't even get to TNA and NXT Battleground that last hour. We've been talking about this whole thing that happened in Scotland
There
last
was so
night.
much controversy at Clash at the Castle, man. His boy had us wrapped.
It has been nuts. But before we bring on our super duper guest, Matt Black from WrestleZone.com, do want to say thank you to WWE for having me out at the NXT Battleground. What the heck was that? Battleground at the UFC Apex, a successful show. And I can tell you, I was talking to people from both UFC and WWE at the event, and they could not have been happier. I mean, that thing went great. I know, NJ, you were there, and just a rousing success. They were adding seats in there, had a blast. And I can tell you what, they're coming back, and they're going to do that again and again and again. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They loved what happened there at Battleground at the Apex.
As they should. Rousing success. Shout out to the UFC for opening their doors. Kudos to the success that we're witnessing live between the merger and the partnership, and the success as of late of TKO partnership group with the merger of the UFC and the WWE. It's a exciting thing. It's a preview of what's to come, and I'm excited to see more and more events of collaborations with the UFC and the WWE. Who knows? We might be able to see a UFC event at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, in the coming months.
Well, they can keep coming to the Apex all they want because it's right across the street from where I work.
Sure is. Sure. It was a fun time. It was a fun time, and I was right there at 5, right there close and in person. It was a better view to see Sexy Red twerking in the ring rather than all those seats in T-Mobile or the MGM. So shout out to the UFC Apex Arena. It was an amazing time. Shout out to that boy Trick Williams. Hey, he about it. He's about to be the greatest NXT champion has ever lived. So shout out to Trick Williams. Shout out to NXT. Shout out to the UFC and the TKO mergent group.
Yeah, and shout out to Obafemi, who just looks like he's ready to maul every human on the planet.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and Obafemi turned him into a splotch on the mat. Anyway, let's let's get our guest on here. I always love having this guy on the show. He is absolutely amazing. Of course, does awesome work over at WrestleZone.com. Let's get him in here right now. He's my hero. That's all there is to it.
I don't know about all that.
Matt Black from WrestleZone.com. Matt, welcome. Good to talk to you this wild night from across the pond. What'd you think?
I didn't love the ending.
Uh-oh.
That much is for sure. Overall, I thought the show was good. Did not enjoy the ending. If anybody heard the Wade Barrett rant on the post show, I loved it because Wade Barrett felt like my spirit animal there. His rant on CM Punk was tremendous, and I was there for all of it.
You know, one thing was interesting though, and there was another factor that NJ and I didn't get to talk about in the last hour was, of course, the accident that happened with Damian Priest, where he got hung up in the ropes. He was jumping off the second rope to go over go outside the ring after Drew, and got his ankle hung up.
Yeah,
and boy, he got twisted like a pretzel there. And he was very, very fortunate that he was able to finish that match. And God forbid, you know, we still don't know the extent of this injury. I mean, he did manage to get through it, but that could have thrown the whole finish of that match off. I mean, what a decision. They must have been thinking back in the back, you know, do we stick with this or do we make a change and not do this CM Punk run in and, you know, call an audible and have Drew win the championship because Damian could be seriously hurt here. I mean, that had to be going through their minds when they saw that go down.
Well, I mean, they went with the planned finish, but here's the problem. Adam Copeland jumped off a cage a few weeks ago, fractured his tibia, and still finished that match and really didn't show any signs of that injury until after the adrenaline worn down and the match was over with. So I'm not saying I don't know anything about Damian's status, but WWE better be crossing their fingers and their toes and everything else and just hoping that Priest is okay. Because if he's not and Priest has to come out on Monday Night Raw tomorrow and relinquish the World Heavyweight Championship, they're going to be kicking themselves in the ass that they didn't just put the title on Drew Saturday night.
Yeah, I think Priest is okay. Yeah, it was that was his first big match. Proud of him. Proud of the growth that I've seen over the years from Punishment Martinez to Damian Priest, who's now the champion of one of the longest running episodic television show in the history of television, which is Monday Night Raw. I think he's okay. I haven't heard anything about it. But like I said, like with the scheduling, it's if there was ever a time for it to happen, it's good for that thing to happen now, because now if he does have an injury, with us going to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and the Money in the Bank over there next month, let's just keep him off the show. Let's keep him off the pay-per-view. Let him heal up his wounds. Let him just stay back and just prepare for this big looming showdown with the leader of Imperium, the King of the Ring 2024 winner in Gunther for SummerSlam at the beginning of August.
All right. Can I just say something right now about this match? Does anybody really want to see Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam? I'm being dead serious. Like, this is not a match that I want to see. I don't have any interest in it whatsoever. I know Priest is the champion, but he has not been built up to a credibility level at any point in the past 2 years to make me think that he can step in the ring with someone like Gunther, who's been built like an unstoppable monster, and have a snowball's chance in hell of winning that match. Like if they go through with Priest versus Gunther, I see no scenario that Gunther doesn't leave SummerSlam with that title.
Well, I see. Well, it looks like that's their plan, and that's been their plan from the jump when he won the tournament. And I get what you're saying because I was in the same aspect of when Triple H came out there and made the announcement on WWE.com. They're saying, "Oh, well, let's go ahead and announce the main event for Clash of the Castle. It's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest." I get that Drew McIntyre is from Scotland, so yeah, you want to go ahead and make that announcement to get those ticket sales. But I wasn't excited to see McIntyre versus Priest either, a heel versus heel. But the way that they've been building these heavyweights, it's like a Titan versus Titan, a big heavyweight versus heavyweight battle. And I get what you're saying, but as far as nobody being excited, yeah, I'm really not excited for Gunther versus Priest. I will meet with you on that. But if there was anybody for Gunther to beat to win his first ever World Heavyweight Championship, I have no problem with it being Damian Priest.
I'm still hoping that Triple H has something up his sleeve. And between now and SummerSlam, they're going to do some kind of trade that sends Imperium to SmackDown. And then instead of Gunther versus Priest, we get Gunther versus Cody. Because I think that's a much bigger marquee match for SummerSlam than Priest versus Gunther. And I don't know if they're going to do it, but Ludwig Kaiser is he dates Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
she's over there on SmackDown, and maybe they want to Triple H is normally pretty big on letting the couples stay on their own brand that they're on. So the fact that they're separated to me is a bit odd. So I'm hoping that maybe they move them over there, unless they have bloodline plans for Cody going into SummerSlam. But they kind of tease that might be the Money in the Bank match after what happened with Cody last night at Clash at the Castle. It might be Cody and Solo at Money in the Bank. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. And personally, I think everybody's trying to break up Gunther and Tiffany. That's what I think they're hoping.
You mean
Kaiser?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Gunther's married to Ginny.
Yeah,
from former NXT UK talent.
Yeah,
so there's nothing to break up there.
Yeah,
and I would never try to interfere in any of Gunther's affairs.
No,
because that is a decision that will probably get you hurt.
Yeah, I'll get you chopped. Get you chopped real good. But no, shout out to Gunther and Jenny. They just had a baby too recently.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
That's awesome.
But Mark, that's what I was just telling you about before we went to break. How I feel like I wish whoever won the King of the Ring, they could have chosen which champion on which brand they could have faced. But I get what Triple H is trying to do. I think he wants to keep that stipulation and that option only for the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Well, I think one thing, and like I had brought up earlier, is you could have a very interesting scenario, and I think Damian Priest is going to end up being the sacrificial lamb in all this.
Yes,
but,
he is.
You're going to end up having a scenario where you're going to have the belt kind of passing between Gunther, McIntyre, and Punk, and geez, what happens when Seth Rollins gets back too? I mean, this could get very interesting.
But who knows who wins Money in the Bank?
Right,
because
and
all signs at the moment are pointing to Jey Uso winning Money in the Bank. But I've also heard
with
rumblings
the Yeet case,
that they would want to do. I've heard rumblings of Finn Balor as well to create some dissension in Judgment Day with Damian Priest. So I don't know. Money in the Bank is going to be very interesting, and I think that will really help paint the picture of what we're going to expect at SummerSlam.
But like you just said, Matt, I hope they do go that route because you've been a wrestling fan like me. So you remember last year, if they do that route, this is the route that they should have took last year because Damian Priest, he won the Money in the Bank. And then Finn Balor had all those those multiple chances at the World Heavyweight title against Seth Rollins, which I felt he should have won one. And that would have gave us this storyline that you just asked for, which was put the decision was in Judgment Day, where it should have been Finn Balor as the World Heavyweight Champion, and then Damian Priest had the Money in the Bank case, and that could have been dissension there. So this year, I hope that they do go that route. Let's have Finn Balor win the Money in the Bank case, and let's tease some dissension between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. That could ultimately be the thing that costs Damian Priest his world heavyweight title against Gunther, and then when Gunther wins it, then you have a returning Seth Rollins come back to SummerSlam, and now he's over here having his big stare down with Gunther and Seth Rollins.
Do you hear what we're saying right now? And this is not, and I'm not slamming anybody. I just want you to picture all of this that we're talking about. About 3 years ago, we had maybe 2 to 3 guys that we could have even considered being in the championship picture. And that was it. Do you hear what we're talking about now? We're talking about 7, 8, and more people being in the championship picture for these 2 titles. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I would say the top 2 companies in wrestling, when their rosters are 100% healthy, it is an embarrassment of riches with how many people can be in the main title picture right now. It is a tremendous time to be a fan of professional wrestling.
It absolutely is.
It hasn't been this good in over 2 decades. People, honestly, if people that didn't grow up on this don't know how good they have it right now.
It's a back that up what both of you said, Matt and Mark. So let's put your fantasy booking cap on. One of the things that you had just mentioned, how you wish the WWE would do it, is at SummerSlam that you wish that the plans would be Gunther versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Had that match been the plan, had that match been the marquee, had this match been happening, with Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, still in the back burner returning, and then you have this match at SummerSlam that you would have Cody Rhodes and Gunther, how would you book that, Matt, and how would you book that, Mark? Cody Rhodes, Gunther, WWE Undisputed Championship. How would you book that?
Wow. That is a hell of a question.
Go ahead, Matt.
I'm putting Cody over. I don't think Cody needs to lose anytime soon. And I think Cody's at his best when he's facing opposition where he feels like he's going to lose. And Gunther could put Cody in that situation where he is a legitimate threat to that championship. And I love AJ Styles. Been a big AJ Styles fan for the past two decades plus. Been watching him since the early days of NWA TNA. Love the guy. Big announcement. I don't know if you guys covered in the first hour of the show. Pro Wrestling Noah announced AJ Styles is going over there to wrestle in Japan next month.
Yeah.
So he's doing huge things right now. But never for a literal second did I think during this feud with him and Cody Rhodes that he was a threat to Cody's title reign. Gunther could create some doubt in people's minds that he could take the title from Cody. I don't think he would, but I think there would be points in the match where people are like, oh yeah, that's it. Gunther's winning this title before Cody managed to come back and win. And I think that's a credit to the mystique that Triple H has built into Gunther over the past year and a half to make him one of the most credible monsters WWE's had since Brock Lesnar. And you guys mentioned Obafemi earlier. If they continue to book him properly, he could be the next Brock Lesnar when they bring him up to the main roster. But I would leave him in NXT for a bit. Let him cook. Let him get better. And when he's fully ready to go, you bring him up and you unleash him on the main roster. Sky's the limit for that guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Of course, we're on the Mark Hoke Show here with special guest Matt Black from WrestleZone.com. Of course, also have NJ Holiday in studio with me here, having a blast and just reacting to what happened last night at WWE Clash at the Castle. And it has just opened up an incredible amount of possibilities. And just one more question before we go to break, guys. Who's the heel in this whole thing with Punk and McIntyre? I mean, seriously, who's the heel?
McIntyre's.
See?
Oh.
See?
McIntyre.
Who's the heel?
McIntyre's the heel. Based off of Clash of the Castle, you would say CM Punk's the heel, but it was just that was just the chapter that we just closed last night in Scotland. But when we come back to the States, McIntyre's the heel. I know what CM Punk just did to McIntyre in his hometown was heelish behavior, but from the beginning of this feud, McIntyre's been the heel, and he still is moving forward.
Matt, who's the heel?
I think things shifted over the weekend.
Okay.
And I think we can lead to a double turn.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a point where the WWE universe grows tired of Punk's antics. And they're like, nah, man, Drew McIntyre in front of his hometown crowd while his wife is stuck in the United States having emergency surgery, and McIntyre cannot be there for her. He gets screwed over by a bitter old man who can't stay healthy in CM Punk. I'm sorry. I think there's going to be a slow turn. I think they're going to flip. And I'm not saying it's going to be immediate, but I think sooner rather than later, McIntyre will be the babyface and Punk will be the heel.
There you go. See, oh man, this is fun, isn't it? God, I love pro wrestling sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a hoot.
Because it's good. Because like I said, we got two different opinions, two different paths, and we're on our heels. We don't know for sure what the plan is, but in my eyes, I just think CM Punk got his lick back because McIntyre cost him his WrestleMania 40 return. So.
And the thing is, Punk's also doing cowardly behavior. Why is he not showing up to Raw on Monday? Why is he coming to SmackDown? He was drafted to Raw. He's a Raw superstar. Why is he not showing up there on Monday to confront Drew? He's going to go to SmackDown instead? I honestly hope Wade Barrett gets up from the commentator's table and hits him with a boom. I want Wade Barrett back in the ring. Put Wade Barrett back in the ring. Let him beat CM Punk's ass. I'm here for it.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be amazing to see Wade Barrett back in the ring.
Yeah.
Maybe Corey Graves will get out of the commentary chair too. He was not happy he had to do the post conference last night. Maybe Graves will team up with Punk and Barrett teams up with McIntyre.
Honestly, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Oh.
Graves making a return, a little tattoo connection.
He's been trying to.
I like it.
That would be a great. Oh my god!
Because I was just gonna ask Matt, who would you have tag with CM Punk to take on McIntyre and Wade Barrett if that was ever a possibility?
There, I just booked it. I just booked it for Money in the Bank. It's done. WWE, you owe me a check. And speaking of checks,
I don't think they're going to do that, but I think it would be great if they did. I would be all about seeing that tag match happen.
That would be something. All right, guys, we got to take a break. When we come back, more with Matt Butt. What is wrong with me today?
Clash of the Castle got you all messed up.
I you know what? Because I've been speaking in Gaelic tongues from my ancestry, and I'm all messed up. It's Father's Day, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there. Stick around. We've got a whole lot more of NJ Holiday, Matt Black, and the guy that can't talk, Mark Hoke. Stick around, everybody. We've got more pro wrestling. There's a lot more that happened, too. We didn't even talk about TNA and Against All Odds and all that craziness that went on Friday night. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Okay, this contract looks good to me. Let me just run it by my lawyer.
Everyone knows that having a good lawyer on hand can be a real game changer, which is why Legal Shield connects you to a vetted law firm in your state for a low monthly fee. Only Legal Shield has been providing this kind of legal peace of mind for over 50 years. Need an experienced set of eyes on that fine print? With Legal Shield, you can say,
let me run it by my lawyer.
Is the dealership giving you a hassle about warranty repairs?
I guess we'll have to talk to our lawyer.
And for that will you've been putting off, you can finally tell your family.
We're good. I had our lawyer take care of it.
Legal Shield isn't AI bots. It's a dedicated group of real lawyers who have your back, no matter what the future brings. All for around the price of those streaming services you don't watch anymore. Sign up at LegalShield.com/radio today. PPLSI does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. What do you think of when someone says tough? Honestly, I think of a Toyota truck. Tundra's one mean mother of a truck with a twin-turbo V6 and incredible going power, and the Tacoma claws through terrain with a taller suspension and lots of creature comforts in the cockpit. Both Toyota trucks are decked out with tons of cool features and tech you'll dig. Check them out at Toyota.com, folks.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope, and there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM. The Talk of Las Vegas, also worldwide on that Odyssey app. If you haven't downloaded that, well, it's AUDACY. It's real simple. Just get on that phone, download it. It's not hard. It's pretty cool. All sorts of great shows along with ours, including all our shows on the KDAWN family. So get to it while you're listening to us. And, of course, subscribe to the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube and Facebook. We would certainly appreciate that. That always helps us out to get those subscribers because I like making money. So just being honest, kids.
I like
we have
money.
we get great content up there. Some incredible interviews from over the past couple of years that I'm sure you would very much enjoy. So check that out. Had that fun one with Dave Penzer, by the way. Had a blast talking to him last week. So check that out. And, of course, on the show today, NJ Holiday and Matt Black. Of course, this will be a Hall of Fame show because we're all over the place having a great time. Man, I'll tell you what, NJ Holiday and, of course, Matt Black from WrestleZone.com. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about TNA because this has been a weird couple of weeks for them, to say the least, with all these people, executives getting fired and leaving and crazy stuff happening. But, of course, had a good show last night with Against All Odds, but no title changes. And, it's been interesting goings on there. Matt, let me start off with you. The turmoil, but the relationship with WWE. And, it looks like in terms of creatively, they're sticking with these guys from the system, man. They aren't giving any belts up to the Nemeth or anyone. This has been a little bit surprising. What'd you think of the last couple of weeks with TNA?
I think TNA had the opportunity to put on an incredible show on Friday night. I think they had more buzz than they've had in years based on the recent interactions with WWE and NXT. I think a lot of people tuned in to Against All Odds, probably tuned into TNA for the first time in a while to check them out. And I feel like minus the ending of the show with the Jeff Hardy return, they really dropped the ball creatively. I thought there was a lot of bad decisions on that show, a lot of wonky booking. That was not the show to put on when you're trying to usher in a new era of your company. I was very excited going into that show Friday night, and by the time it was done, I'd wish I watched Rampage instead.
Wow.
I did not enjoy the show. I watched SmackDown that afternoon because it aired live in Scotland, so I covered that in the Friday afternoon for WrestleZone. So my evening was free. I'm like, sweet, I can watch Against All Odds instead of SmackDown in Rampage. And by the time the show was done, like I said, minus the Jeff Hardy return at the end, yeah, I kind of wish I'd just tuned into Rampage instead. What are they doing with Joe Hendry, man?
That is a
Like,
good.
what in the hell are they doing?
That is a really good question. There's two issues that I probably have right now. Is one, Joe Hendry should probably get pushed to the moon at this point with everything that he has been doing. With the theme song, being at the top of the charts.
I believe in Joe Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing it in my car. I'm torturing people in the streets with it. Seriously, I mean, how are they not getting him a bigger push and and him getting beat? And I'm
By
surprised.
Frankie Kazarian of all people.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I love Frankie. Like,
I do too.
Long time fan, but he's not the guy who should be pushed right now in 2024. He's the guy who should be helping the younger talents getting to the next level. And I thought Joe Hendry over Frankie Kazarian was a slam dunk. And I thought you put Hendry over Kazarian. He's already kind of involved with the whole thing with the system. Maybe he can be the next challenger to Moose, because there was no way I expected. I knew Matt wasn't winning the title.
Right.
And then they make Hendry lose, and they pair him with Ace Steel. Literally one of the most polarizing figures in professional wrestling. I have no clue what this company's thinking. And they still, despite the loss, had Hendry run out at the end to go up against the system just to get his ass kicked. What are they? What is this company doing?
That's the system, and that's what we miss Scott D'Amore. And you can tell you really miss the Scott D'Amore element of TNA and how he puts stuff together. Because now the new owners, they got this new system where basically if you're not an ex-WWE guy, you're not getting like pushed to the moon. AJ Francis, Mustafa Ali. If you're not an ex-AEW guy, Matt Hardy. Now you got Jeff back in the mix. Joe Hendry is a homegrown TNA talent that should be at the top of the card, mixing it up with the top talent known as Moose, the tag team champions with Kurt Hawkins. He should not be down losing to no Frankie Kazarian, like you just said, but that is the system that is going to be ultimate detriment to how TNA will be viewed throughout the rest of the year. You see how we was talking in WWE and all they've been doing for so long in the Paul Levesque era, and how they got the partnerships with the collaborations with Bloodsport. They got the partnerships with TNA now. So the only reason why we ever talk about TNA is now they're being ushered in and being collaborated with WWE. But the system that they got going on with TNA, like you said, you have to push your homegrown talent because you only have so long to capitalize on the spark and the hype. Mark just said we was at the TNA Battleground. I mean, not TNA, NXT Battleground show here in Las Vegas, and there was a lot of people in there chanting, "We believe in Joe Hendry." They were just chanting the song out of random because
and a lot of TNA chants for when Jordan Grace was out there too.
Exactly, because Joe Hendry has the same kind of hype right now that LA Knight just had last year, and WWE capitalized on it.
That's a great comparison.
So TNA, you need to wake up. You need to capitalize on this stuff with Joe Hendry, because once the fans are uninvested, they're uninvested. And once they leave the TNA exposure that you're getting right now from the USA Network, from Jordan Grace, from the women's division right now, from NXT, y'all need to capitalize on that right now and push this homegrown talent that you got with Joe Hendry. I believe, Matt believe, Mark believe, everybody believe, and y'all need to put the rocket on this guy and get him in the top of the card right now, because once this opportunity is lost, it's lost.
And I want to throw one other thing out too. And you were talking about past WWE talent, but here's my question: what are they doing with the Nemeths? What are they doing with them? And here
that should have been a slam dunk too.
We're in Las Vegas, and it's nothing against Moose. I love Moose to death, but I would have thought that would have been a kind of a slam dunk title change there to get some exposure. You want to have those guys go back and forth, great, and then you get Ryan in there, and you've got a shot to at least put the tag titles on those guys, which would have been a great story. And you don't do that either.
But
that shocked me, because I figured, okay, well, you're keeping the title on Moose. Well, at least give those guys the tag titles. But I don't know what exactly they have planned for the system. And it's nothing against those guys because I think they're all great talents, but people know who the Nemesis are. So you're pushing a lot of the WWE guys, but those two you're not. I'm like, what? So I mean, nothing against TNA, and I'm not in the room, but that one didn't make sense to me on Friday night. That was the one that got me.
It's a system that TNA is known for, and like I said, they're known for dragging stuff out when it comes to heel factions, to where they're gonna run roughshod for months on end. But what's gonna happen is, look at the emotion that you just displayed, that you're frustrated and that you thought something was gonna happen right then and there. This is what's gonna happen. The system's gonna run roughshod all the way until October. And what's in October, Mark? What's in October, Matt? Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is going to happen, and then the system is going to have their just due. And then all the baby faces are going to beat them. All the heels are going to lose their title. This is a system that TNA has been on, that has displayed over the last decade. When it has come to Aces of Eights, when it has come to Main Event Mafia, when it has come to the heel LAX, all the heel factions get their just due and Bound for Glory. And I wish this was a system that would change with the new ownership. But what we're seeing, Matt, and Matt can attest to this, what we're seeing is it's a lot of politicking going on backstage with the guys that have been there for years. And they're politicking to hold their spot until Bound for Glory, where it makes sense now it makes sense for me to lose my title. Oh, now it makes sense for me to lose my spot. Oh, now it makes sense for the babyface to win. It's 2024. You need to mix it up because you got so much wrestling on there right now. I'll attest to Game Changer. You got Game Changer out there putting on a lot of big time shows, a lot of big time star-studded like upsets that keeping people invested on the internet, to where on a Friday you're not gonna want to tune in to TNA. You're gonna want to tune in to Triller TV and watch Game Changer. That's what I'm saying. It's too much wrestling going on for you to be stagnant and stuck in your old ways, in your old booking element, to where you think that the fans are gonna still be there. That's why that's what you're seeing going on right now.
I mean, when they were here in Las Vegas when Moose took on Nick, they did this massive publicity tour around the city. I mean, they were all over the base. They were at the baseball games. They were, going to all the media outlets they could possibly hit. And then Moose still held on to the title. I mean, Moose and Nick were everywhere. And, I was just really surprised that they didn't do a title change that night. I don't know. It was, I mean, I like TNA. I think they have a lot of great talent there, but just really surprised at the booking. So,
I think NJ makes a very good point in terms of eventually you're just going to lose more people. At some point people are like, I'm tired of waiting for the payoff to the storyline. I'm sick of the system. I'm sick of the formulaic storylines that TNA does every year. There's so much wrestling on every night of the week. So many different companies vying for your eyeballs. At this point, we're in an era where if the wrestling company doesn't give you what you want, there's another wrestling company that will.
Yes.
And you can't just rest in your laurels like, oh yeah, we're TNA. We've been around for 2 decades and everything's going to be okay. You need to strike while the iron is hot. And you need to make sure that you're keeping the future of your company happy. So when their contracts come up, like the Motor City Machine Guns did earlier this year, that they don't say, bet, I'm out. And we're probably going to see them on AEW programming at some point this summer. Like, you don't want to lose Joe Hendry. You don't want to lose Josh Alexander. You don't want to lose the future of your company. You don't want to lose Jordan Grace, but newsflash, she's WWE bound as soon as her deal's up. There's no way she's not going to WWE. She's gone. She's as good as gone. TNA needs to shift. and they need to shift as soon as Slammiversary. And I will give out a minor spoiler from the tapings last night. The main event of Slammiversary is a 6-man elimination match for the TNA World Championship with Moose and 5 other competitors. They have a chance to right the ship at Slammiversary. Make the move then. Don't wait until October, because by October it could be too late.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting when you guys are talking about moving forward, and you've got to keep this thing rolling. You've got to keep that ball pushing forward constantly, and the stagnation. We've seen it in so many companies. We're seeing all this stuff about WCW, for example, and think back about how they stagnated and fell into the NWO, and everybody just kept. No, we're going to NWO it until it dies. And well, you killed your company because of it, partially, which there's a fight going on right now. We're discussing this after 24 years, but think about that,
Well, hey, it's a big topic of conversation right now with the show out right now. So it's perfectly acceptable conversation right now.
Yeah. But TNA could put themselves in a position where somebody else could step in. There's another promoter out there that could take, either
Scott D'Amore tried to buy the company.
He did.
From Anthem before they booted him. And the problem is, like, D'Amore can't even go work for like AEW or WWE right now because he's on some kind of non-compete. He's basically sitting at home for the next year, collecting a paycheck from Anthem, instead of using his mind to let them steer the ship back in the right direction, which he was doing with this company last year.
Right. I mean, the reaction in Las Vegas in January as opposed to April was very different. It was very different. Bigger crowd in January. And I'm sure that having Ospreay and Okada there didn't hurt. But that was the forward thinking. And it's amazing to me a lot of times that since I've really gotten into observing the wrestling business a lot tighter, is that so many people just are happy being where they're at, as opposed to wanting to push forward and wanting to get better and saying, well, I'm okay with my little patch. And the problem is that somebody else out there is gonna move past you.
Yeah, that's the same problem with the NWA. Billy Corgan is very happy with his little niche product and his little niche company and his little niche fans. He does not want to change. He does not want to evolve the product in any way, shape, or form. And he's happy just hemorrhaging money for the company because he's putting on the wrestling product from the early 80s that he wants to see. But it's not doing him any good. He's not making any new fans. No one cares about the NWA. And if TNA doesn't right their ship sooner rather than later, they're going to be in a similar situation to what the NWA is going through right now. And that's a damn shame, because honestly, TNA as a company deserves a lot more than that.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, let's take our last break here. And when we come back, our final segment. And you know what? I do want to talk a little bit about that WCW stuff.
Let's do it.
I do, because this is very intriguing. After 24 years, we're still fighting about this thing. It's crazy.
And Bret Hart still hates Goldberg's guts. Still to this day.
Unbelievable. Stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show with Matt Black and NJ Holiday. We'll be right back.
Listen to the Texas Corners Bible Church every Saturday night at 7 p.m. and Sunday night at 10 p.m. on 101.5 FM.
Say, for the ones who get it done, Grainger is offering high-quality supplies and solutions for every single industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and the experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people even safer. So call, click Grainger.com, or just stop on by Grainger.com.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey there, I'm Healthy Hank, your health hero, here to give you little habits for healthy travels. Picture this. You're about to board a plane and you find yourself in a sneezing or coughing fit. This is a potential germ explosion. Utilize tissues as your trusty sidekick against sneezes and coughs, and then disinfect any surfaces you may have touched. And remember, if you're feeling under the weather, be a superhero and stay home. Together, we can ensure a safe and healthy journey for everyone. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Know a disabled veteran who needs specialized furniture? Visit walkerfurniture.com/help for heroes and share why you or another veteran would benefit from Walker Furniture's Help for Heroes program.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Yeah, let's do this one more time. I wish I could just wipe out the rest of the programming on KDAWN, and we could just do this all day long. We probably could get better ratings, but
Oh, that's a low blow.
That is a low blow, Mark.
Well,
a little bit. You feeling a little hokey, huh?
Well,
okay.
Actually, I shouldn't say that about some of our great Fox programming on here. but there are some interesting shows on here we could skip over. No offense, but I'm sure.
Talk your shit, Mark.
I'm sure that there are some people out there that very much enjoy getting financial advice and things like that. So, sorry.
Sorry.
Nah, not really. Not really. It's just because
isn't that what the internet's for?
Exactly.
But I just enjoy doing this show so much that I could do it all day long. That's just how it is. But it's the best in pro wrestling. Yeah, best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on the Mark Hoke Show, and I'll probably be getting a reprimand from Odyssey later on today, but that's all right.
I'll pay the fine.
Thanks for burying our whole Sunday lineup, Mark. Yeah, well, whatever. I get the best ratings. Anyway,
that part.
NJ Holiday and senior editor over at WrestleZone, Matt Black, joining us. I can't believe that we are still talking about WCW. The guys over there, of course, at the dark side of the ring, and that gang decided to put together this cute little 4-episode special about who killed WCW. We're 2 episodes in, and I think the theme that has gone through this whole thing with everybody involved, for the most part, comes down to one word: bitterness. They're all ticked off. I mean, seriously. I think that everyone is just so angry that WCW does not still exist. And it just seems like it is running through everybody's veins when they are interviewing them that WCW is gone. And they're all pointing fingers again at everybody else about, why this organization died. It's been an interesting show. And, it's interesting to listen to Meltzer and Alvarez say, this is wrong, that's wrong. But man, there's just a lot of venom still about this almost a quarter of a century later. Matt, what are your thoughts on the show so far?
No, seemingly everybody's mad but Kevin Nash. Because Kevin Nash is like, yeah, I collected a paycheck. Yeah, I'd have done it again if I could do it today. Kevin Nash doesn't seem upset about anything. But the thing about the death of WCW is a lot of people were to blame.
Yeah.
There's not just one person that you can point to and say this is the reason why WCW died. Like multiple people had a big hand in the downfall of this company. Nobody's hands are clean. Like so many people, were detrimental to that company, and they did it to themselves. And honestly, it's a cautionary tale. I mean, people should, wrestling owners in 2024 should study the downfall and the death of WCW for a learning device of what not to do with your company.
Right.
And there was a point when, WWE was spinning this narrative about 9 or 10 years ago or whatever, when they did the Monday Night War documentary on the network, and they're burying all this stuff WCW is doing. And I'm like, are you all listening to yourselves? You're doing all this shit right now. Y'all need to fix. You need to fix these things and right the ship, or you're going to end up like WCW did. You're making the same mistakes they were. Luckily, Vince is gone, and WWE is making money hand over fist, and they're more profitable and popular than they've been in ages. But there was a point where WWE in the 2010s were making a lot of the same mistakes that WCW was making during the late 90s.
Yep.
But they didn't have they weren't owned by a television network that could go in and get them shut down.
Right.
And that was one of the major issues with WCW, is they weren't independently owned. I
think it's interesting. Eric Bischoff is, Eric's coming off pretty good in this, but Eric made a lot of mistakes too. And I also, Turner obviously had their issues, and I think Eric made a fair statement where he said it was death by 1,000 swords, and that made sense. And you could kind of tell that everybody, and I think Eric does realize that he screwed up a lot. I don't think he's necessarily taking all the blame that maybe he should have, but there's still 2 more episodes to go.
I think episode 2 was much more of an Eric Bischoff puff piece than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's a lot of blame that should be landed on Bischoff's shoulders, and I think he's still bitter about it. And I think that's why he has this vendetta with Tony Khan and AEW, because there is a wrestling company nowadays that are run on the Turner networks that there's a happy partnership there,
as opposed to what it was.
Bischoff never got to have that happy partnership.
No, he did not.
With those network executives beyond Ted Turner. So
yeah, NJ, real quick, I've got about 35 seconds ish. What were your thoughts on this?
The four part episode that produced by the final boss, The Rock, for Vice TV. Thank you. I like it. Like you said, Kevin Nash is not upset because he had a hell of a time collecting a check, smashing all the divas, and politicking all the world championships, and running all the factions that he wanted in WCW when it came to the Wolfpack, when it came to NWO, and when it came to smashing Tori Wilson, when it came to campaigning for the World Heavyweight title. So that's why he's not upset. It is what it is. But everybody else has a reason to be bitter because he's the one that held them down. Kevin Nash is the reason why they lost future world champions in Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, The Big Show, Chris Jericho. So that's why everybody's bitter. The death of WCW was a huge part of Big Sexy Kevin Nash. I said it. It is what it is.
He didn't like his booking getting called out, though.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Wrestling 101. Oh, he didn't enjoy that very much.
I wouldn't either.
Ouch. All right, guys. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming on the show. Always a pleasure to have you on, even though I had to dump you on the S-bomb.
My bad.
It's all good. We love you, buddy. NJ Holiday, thanks for sitting in. We do appreciate it. And, hey, this is what you get every week when you listen to the Mark Hoke Show. Join us on the live stream. We certainly do appreciate you being on with us. Happy Father's Day to everybody. We'll see you next week. Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. Subscribe at The Mark Hoke Show. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.